We go, how's everybody doing? You're older than y'all. Sherry. It's wisdom. It's wisdom at this point, right? Yeah. That's funny, Sherry. Yep, we've got it's pretty white. It's very pretty white. My hairdresser will not let me go all white right now, even if I wanted to, because it's in patches. I would look like I'm polka dotted. So that's not a good look. Okay, so what are we talking about today? You were 23. Oh my goodness. We are talking about, here's a good one. Cooking up success. We are talking about, are you a doormat designer? A doormat designer. Uh-oh, hold on. The client pulled out and wanted a refund for the initial visit. Oh, Tiff, I'm so sorry. That sucks. Too tired of these clients. We'll talk about this in a minute. Let me go through some of this content here. And I'm sorry to hear that, Tiffany. That's such a crap. Um, okay. Sorry, my heart hurts right now. For Tiffany, not my heart.
I need to call somebody?
Yeah, I know, right? You do not need to call the paramedics. Okay. So y'all, my name is Michelle Lynn. If you are new around here, I am the founder of ML Interiors Group, the Design Bakehouse, and a few other creative ventures that you'll hear about along the way. I come from a corporate background, but I've spent the last decade building, well, gosh, couple decades. Holy crap, it's been almost 2 decades building a design business. Okay. And thankfully, the design business is wildly creative. It's profitable. Okay. When I started, there were not resources out there to help designers actually run the business of their business. Okay. So after a lot of trial and error, I created the ones that I wish I would have had. So today I help interior designers grow with clarity, confidence, and a clear path for profit. Okay. And I'm so glad you guys are here. Like I love doing this. So tell me in the comments if you are a bakehouse regular, like if you've been hanging out here for a little while, or if you're new to my community. Okay, do we have new faces around here? Um, just let me know where you're at. And we are going to talk today about how to set boundaries without losing clients or your sanity. Okay. Um, you might be a doormat designer if you've answered client texts on a Sunday morning. Okay. Maybe still in your pajamas, cup of coffee. Okay. Or if you have revised a design just one more time. Okay. Or shown them just one more option. Okay. Or you said yes to something that you immediately regretted. Okay. If that sounds familiar, let me just tell you that you're in good company because we've all been there. You want to be liked. You need the project. You don't want to rock the boat. Okay. Does any of that sound familiar? My God, I've been there, done that for sure. Oh, yay. Thanks, Brenda. Um, the truth of the matter is that by being too flexible, it doesn't make you more successful. It honestly will make you exhausted and resentful. Okay. Like Tiffany, you said it, you're too tired of these effing clients. Like here's part of it. And I'm not saying Tiffany was a doormat designer because I think you held your boundaries pretty well. Okay. In this training, we're going to talk about how to shift from being doormat to being decisive. Okay. And we're going to create boundaries that actually build respect and not risk it. So I'd like to say, let's start from the beginning and kind of like what I've seen is like the why behind it. Like, why do we become doormat designers? Okay. What I've seen leading my team, managing myself, talking to hundreds of designers on a regular weekly basis. Okay. There's a fear of rejection. We worry our clients won't hire us if we push back. Okay, we have processes and procedures for a reason. Okay, we'll talk about that. But another reason is that we need the project. I need the money overrides intuition. Ooh, girls, I've been there, been guilty. Okay. People pleasing. Okay. We want happy clients. And oftentimes what we do is we mistake our yes for good service. We were also, a lot of us were raised that the customer's always right, that we need to bend over backwards to accommodate them. That's BS. Okay. And then another root cause is that you have a lack of systems. Okay, this is where a lot of the interior design business bakery has been born from, is if you can't hold boundaries if you've never defined them. So let me just say that boundaries, they're not barriers. Okay, they're not there to like hold you back. They're guidelines and instructions for how clients can get the best version of you. So we can probably relate. Okay, we can probably relate to some of those root causes, but I want to talk to you about the cost of if you stay in this position of a doormat. Okay, because what you're doing is you're training clients to treat you the way, like, to what the level that you tolerate. You feel resentment. Okay, and that's going to leak into the quality of your work or the energy field around you. Okay, and you start burning yourself out because you're blurring work life boundaries. House, yeah. Does this, can you guys relate to this? Okay. And here's this one is like, hey, Michelle, this was you. You attract clients who expect over service because you've modeled it. Like, even if I read an email at 4:30 in the morning from a client, I'm not likely going to respond to it because I'm training them to expect a response at 7 at night, 4:30 in the morning, or whatever. Okay. So you model it. So here, I want you guys to drop in the chat. Okay. Or jot it down in your notebook if you need to, but like, is there a moment in a recent project where you have felt frustrated? Okay. And can you trace it back to one of those one of those root causes: fear of rejection, money pressure, people pleasing, or lack of systems? You were feeling frustrated because I took this project since I needed the money. I said yes to this extra blah, 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 because I thought it was good service. Okay. Or I don't have systems in place, so I don't have boundaries. Anybody relate to that? Y'all are a quiet group today. You're quiet group. That's okay. I don't take it personal. Hallie, you can keep talking to me in the chat. So let's talk about, I made the promise early in today's session, is that we're going to talk about how to stop doing this. First, potential clients won't communicate. Okay. That is frustrating. Why do you think that is, Paula? Like, did you tell them your expectations? Did you walk them through the sales process? So we need to
No,
go
'cause
back and see where that is.
I did it backwards, as you know, like,
There you go.
but they're also, it's commercial. They're very busy
Yeah, they don't move at the same
and,
pace.
and he's an engineer. So there you
Okay.
have it.
There you go. Okay, so good. So you can be frustrated, but it's not because you were a doormat. It's just that we've got to, but you can start setting expectations. So for Paula, hop over to module 4 and also take a look in the contract. Paula's in the interior design business bakery, and take a look at the when you spell out the expectations. Like we expect you to get back to us in a certain amount of time and so forth. Okay, so let's talk about how to step off that doormat. And I see some questions over here. You have a headstrong client who's requesting things that are not to your design level, no lining with a pattern and print drapery in the garage. Oh, Brenda, I will come back to that. So I want to hear what you guys are experiencing in the chat. I'm going to talk about how you step off the doormat, and then I'll come back to some of the questions. Okay. One of the biggest game changers is making sure you set clear expectations. Okay. The scope of work needs to be detailed and clearly defining your deliverables. Okay. In writing. You could even go so far as to say, here's what's included and here's what's not. Okay. You can put after the design presentation, additional revisions are billed hourly. Like these things need to be in both your scope of work and some stuff in your contract. Okay. So Paula, the issue she had, we had some clients that were like horrible at responding in time. Okay. And then the husband would say one thing and she'd say another, and therefore we'd be going down two different trails. So we had to change some of the language in our contract because we'd seen it trickling in a little bit more with other clients. So we've updated our contract so that we tell them, here's the expectations, but here's the consequence if you don't. Okay. Another thing, when you're setting clear expectations, it's truly saying, like, if they say, well, what about we do, you know, what do you think we should do in this room? You practice saying that's outside of the scope. I'd be more than happy to create another scope of work for an additional service. Okay. If you're here live, Hallie's got a handout of the boundary scripts that she'll put in the chat here in a little bit. It's like a scope creep script. And you can just copy and paste it and then practice saying it out loud. Okay, because oftentimes they're like, hey, well, what do you think we should do with the powder bathroom while you're here? Thank you, I will take a minute. And then you just need to be able to say, you know, that's not in our scope of work, but I'd be more than happy to create another one for that. Instead of just saying, oh, here's what I would do, and then get stuck having to do it. Thank you, Juliana. Okay, so that's one, you need to set the expectations. Number two, protect your time. Okay, set office hours and communicate them in your welcome packet, in your introductory packet, in your meet and greet. So Paula, if that's not in the meet and greet, or Hallie, if it's not in the meet and greet deck that we have in the bakery, we need to update it because we've added our work hours. Okay. In your email signature, put your work hours in there. Okay. Or put, you know, all emails will be answered within 48 business hours. Because you don't have to, just because you get a little ding in your inbox does not mean that you need to reply right away. Okay. So you need to manage your own urgency. Because again, then you're training your client to expect an email response right away. Okay, I have created a monster with my child getting warm milk every night because she expects me to make it every night. Okay, I've trained her to expect me to make warm milk. She's perfectly capable of doing it herself. Can you relate to that? We do this to our children. We're doing it to our clients. Okay, so if you don't protect your time, nobody else will. Okay, so that goes to the next thing. It's like, if there's an issue, okay, you do need to address that immediately. Because otherwise you're going to sit around and you're going to let resentment fester. Okay, so Paula, your potential clients won't communicate. You're going to need to address this and tell them, here's how we need to operate going forward. Okay, and you just do it before you get pissy. Because once you're feeling pissy, it's going to come out pissy. Okay, so you can, the kind but clear formula, okay, kind but kind, I completely understand where you're coming from, period. Here's how we can handle it moving forward, clear. Okay, so you have to train your clients early in the relationship because consistency is key. And you have to be consistent. Okay. Going back to my 7-year-old, I always said that I was going to be a really good mom because I'm a really good manager. But I've never had an employee fight the same way my 7-year-old does. Right? It's like, Genevieve, you have to take your hot cocoa mug and put it in the sink and put some water in it every morning, consistent. Okay. If her dad doesn't do it one day, then she argues with him the next. Okay. So you also have to know when to say no. Saying no to the wrong project is saying yes to your sanity. Saying no to the add-on part of the project that they're not paying for is saying yes to your sanity. Okay. So this is part of, like, in the sales process that I teach in the interior design business bakery. And we're also going to have a workshop coming up, I think sometime in November, maybe the first part of December, my sales process. We run through my personal checklist. Do they have the right budget? Is it the right style fit? Are they a respectful communicator? They might suck at communicating sometimes, but are they respectful when they do it? Do they have aligned expectations? Is their timeline on point? Okay. So if not, like if any of those are a red flag, you need to be thinking about turning it down, because what it's going to do is you're going to create space for better opportunities. All right. So you can still be kind, which the world needs more kindness. Okay. You can still be kind, and you can still be generous, and you can still be very client focused without being a pushover. So my challenge to y'all, and for those of you who are not from Texas, y'all is technically a term. Okay. For my challenge to y'all is to pick one boundary that you're going to implement this week. Can you clarify your office hours? And maybe you're not clarifying it to a person, but you're outlining it on the bottom of your email. You're putting it in your meet and greet deck. Okay. You're putting it on your website, like maybe all three. Okay. Do you have a scope of work detail? Okay. Our scope of work is an addendum to our contract. Some people write the scope in the contract. We just look at it as two separate documents, but they're both legally married. Okay. Do you have consequences in your contract? What I mean by that is, if they want 17,000 revisions, what's the consequence other than you getting pissy? Good. Christine created a client hub and added your work hours. Rock on. I love that idea. Okay. Maybe you draft your first scope creep response, because Hallie's got some fun little boundary script cheat sheet that she's going to put in the chat. So tell me, like, there you go. Hal's is so good. Thank you. So what's one boundary that you're going to implement this week? Put this in the chat. Put this in the chat. So I'm reading Brenda's email, comment. You have systems that have a headstrong client who's requesting things that are not to your design level, such as no lining with a pattern print drapery or drapery in the garage. So Brenda, that sounds horrible. But I'm just also going to say to y'all is that they come to us as the expert. So when they're asking for you to not line the curtains, or they want curtains in the garage, that's fine. If they want curtains in the garage, I mean, their level of design, that's fine. They just need to be good curtains, right? Sometimes the best thing we can do is say no to the client and explain to them why. You don't want that, and here's why. Okay, if what you're looking for is like the sunshine coming through this, then you don't want the pattern. Explain to them why. And that in itself is its own boundary, is that you're standing up and educating them on the reality of their request. Here's an example. I know you guys are shocked. This is not my natural hair color. Okay. What we have is I went to Shauna, the woman who does my hair. Thankfully, I'll be seeing her tomorrow. Hallelujah. I went to her and I said, Shauna, my hair is just feeling kind of limp and lifeless. I'd like to get a perm or a body wave or whatever it is that we're doing these days. Okay. It's been years, but it's just kind of yuck. And she goes, nope, can't do it. And I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, if I put a perm in your hair with all the color that you have, it's gonna get fried. And I'm like, oh, okay. It's not what I wanted to hear. But what would have been worse is if she would have just agreed to it and put it in there and my hair's all fried. So sometimes saying no to our clients is the best thing that they can have. Okay. So Krista, you're going to put your email signature, hours, and response time. Rock on. Good, 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 good. So it sounds, I think Krista's going to be the only one who put some boundaries in place this week. All right. Well, there we go. Come on. I know you guys are doing it. Commit, commit, hold yourself accountable. Thank you. Diana's going to do the same thing. Okay. I really do hope that you guys can take some of this content and put it to use. Okay. So like, if you like what you're learning here, discuss it with Amy. She needs to do something along these lines. Good. Yep. Sherry, you can play her this video. Okay. If you guys like what you're learning here in these sessions, okay. But if you're worried that it's going to be just like one more thing that you never get done, like for example, I went to a conference a couple weeks ago and I still have my notes in my notebook and I haven't implemented any of it. Okay. If you fall into a similar category, I want to invite you to consider working with me as your coach. Okay. Hallie is doing an open house tomorrow where she's going to tell you all about all the things we have going on in the Design Bakehouse. Okay. We have free resources. We have paid resources. We have different email courses and things along that line that Hallie actually has a freebie. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's really good. She's got a freebie for everybody who shows up in the open house tomorrow. So it's a good freebie. Okay. So I'm going to invite you there. But before you go, here are some ways that I think that would support you with today's content. Okay. We've got a couple of master coaching bundles. Okay. We've got a mindset master coaching bundle. Okay. It's Hallie, we need to calculate how many hours these bundles are because I'm going to tell you all it's $500 with lifetime access, slide decks, worksheets. There's over 18 recorded live sessions, so it's probably 18 hours, okay? And we're going to talk about mindset and client experience, pricing power, getting unstuck, different seasons of business, and thinking bigger. Okay, if you're interested in that, Hallie can get you all hooked up. We have the Lead Lab. Okay, this is a marketing and lead generation membership. I think it's in oh, I have one right there on my desk. I think I know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
The introductory packet for the meet and greet that we're about to have. So y'all, there's no contracts for the Lead Lab. It's a month-to-month membership. We've got 3 live calls, other bonus courses that we drop in there, including my sales process. Okay. So there's a whole bunch of ways that you can get involved. If you want to hop on a call, we can hop on a call, but go spend some time with Hallie tomorrow. She will walk you through. Now, if you're already in the interior design business bakery, there's still some things that you might be interested in, some free resources that you didn't know were there because they're new. Okay. So even if you are in one of my programs, don't rule it out because there's some really fun things that we've started doing. So Hallie, do you have anything else? I'm going to wrap it up here. I have a meet and greet with a client here in a moment.
No, I will put in the chat also the flyers for where you're going to be in High Point.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
And if anybody wants the links to those mindset sessions or the lead lab, you can email me or I could put them in the chat here. Or you just come tomorrow and I'll give you like an overview and you'll just get a lot of clarity on what will work best for you.
Yeah. And then, like I said, we've got a lot of free stuff for those of you who are in the paid programs that will add value. So, excuse me, I just chewed on a mint and it's really spicy. Thank you guys for being here. We will not be here next week because I will be on an airplane coming back from High Point. If you are in High Point, as Hallie put, there's a couple places that we can connect. I love it when people jump off the screen and I can give you a hug. And I think that's it. Thank you guys for being here. Can't believe it's the end of October. So I will see you guys soon. Bye.